Hey there! In this video, I'm going to build a simple form that I can use to connect for the first time to my Xano instance and use the real-time capabilities. So to do so, we need three things: the instance space URL, a connection hash, which is basically some sort of ID of your workspace, and the authentication token, but this one is optional. So let's start by initializing actually or real-time capabilities in the Xano dashboard. So if you go to your dashboard, you can see here that in the upper right corner, you have this icon of settings. Click it and then select real-time settings. Here you have this toggle that you can turn on, and once you have enabled it, you will be able to access to your connection hash. If it's the first time that you're enabling it, it may take a few minutes, so be patient. So we have the connection hash, but where do we get the base URL from? Well, basically you can use this URL up here. You have to copy this bit and then paste it into your form. I did this already, so it's ready to use both values, the base URL and the connection hash. And we also need an authentication token, but I said it was optional, so I already created one for me and pasted it in here. So now let's create the logic to connect to the server. So let's open this and let's add an action, and let's go to our custom actions and select the Xano Realtime Data Custom Actions. Here you will see a whole list of all the things you can do, but in a special way interested in this connect WebSocket action, which is actually one of the most relevant ones, if not the most relevant. So this action allows you to establish a connection, but also configure some behaviors when it fails to connect or when the connection gets closed, if you want to reconnect, stuff like that. So let's start by the basic. Let's add the connection, and we will fill the first three parameters. I will explain the rest. You can see that is a lot. I will explain the rest afterwards, but first let's start by mapping these fields. So the base URL we can get from the text field number 1, the connection hash we can get from the text field number 2, and the access token is something we are going to handle a bit different actually. So we are going to use a conditional to build this value, and we are going to check that the text field associated to the authentication token, let's copy this and let's set a condition. Let's paste this. We are going to check that it is set and not empty. If it's set and not empty, we can use the value of the text field, but if it's if it's not set or is empty, we are going to pass a null value. Confirm. With this, we can establish our first connection, but to try it, actually, we have to clear these errors. For some reason, FlutterFlow doesn't identify this as actual values, so I have to override some of them. Let me pass anything here. Let me actually pass a null value here. 0 here. False. 0, 0. I will, as I said, I will explain all of this later, but for now you just have to know that the first three options are the ones we are going to use to establish the first connection. Okay, so we have also this output variable name, because this returns a boolean. If it's set to true, that means that the connection was made successfully, but if it returns false, it means that the connection failed. So let's put this, the name connected, let's set it to connected, and then we can add a conditional, and the conditional will have this boolean as an input, and if I connect it successfully, I want to show a snack bar showing connected. But if I didn't connect, or the connection failed, I will say not connected, and let's change the color so we can distinguish it. Okay, cool. So with this, we should be able to establish our first connection, but actually we won't. It will throw an error. Reason is because when you enable your real-time capabilities in Xano, you have to create at least one channel. If you don't create any channel, you won't be able to connect. So let's do that. Let's call it our first channel. Let's save this. And now I should be able to connect. So let's try this in test mode actually. Let's open this here. I already have an open session, so let's open it. And I'm going to open my developer tools. This is a functionality of your Chrome browser. Other browsers have it too, so if you don't know how to open it, I suggest you to look in Google or Google it or something. But basically, this will allows us to look at the connection and monitor what's going on, what messages are we sending, what messages are receiving, if the connection is open, if it's closed, all of that. As you can see, in the network tab. You have elements, console, network sources, etc. You have to go to the network tab, and then you have to click on WebSocket, this subtab here. So you will only see WebSocket connections. Otherwise, if you see all, you will get lost in this sea of configurations and stuff and logs. So click WebSocket, and here you will be able to see your WebSocket connections. This is not our connection. This is this chat, real-time chat connection. So we can just ignore it. It starts with a 5, so ignore it for the rest of the videos. But now we are going to attempt and connect for the first time ourselves. So things to keep in mind. When I click connect, this a new row will appear here, and that will be our connection. So let's see if we connect successfully. There it is. We connected to the WebSocket connections. For some reason though, it didn't show the snack bar showing that we connected successfully. So let me pause the video and see what's going on. Okay, I think I got the error. The issue is that I opened the session, the test version that was running, but I didn't stand reload that. And that's a reminder that you have to instant reload every time you make a change. Otherwise, it will just open as a snapshot of your app the moment that you reload it or done it for the first time in your test environment. So let's connect again. Here we can see it appear. Here's the message connected, and we can see that it appeared a new WebSocket channel. So as this is actually the one. As you can see, it is connected. The time says pending because it's still open, and it will set an amount of seconds when it closes. And notice that after 30 seconds, it will close because there is an activity. So that's something that you have to keep in mind as well, because if you don't connect to any channel or you don't interact with this connection in any sense, then it will close itself like it did just now. So to avoid this, there's a built-in functionality in the library which is called keep connection alive, if I'm not mistaken. Keep connection alive, yes. So we have set it to false here. Let's change it to true. But what this do is that it basically automates a process of sending messages to the server and receive messages in return. So this will simulate an interaction, or will create an interaction with the connection. So it will think that you are actively using it, and it won't close itself. This is a technique that many platforms use. Actually, if we take a quick peek at this WebSocket connection, you can see that it is sending. This is the WebSocket connection associated to this widget of the live chat. It is sending these ping messages. This is what we call the ping pong strategy, where basically you send a ping message to the server and you receive a pong response. You don't have to use the word ping in specific, but it's a way to interpret, understand what is this message for. So let's go back to our system. We said, okay, keep connection alive. And for that, we have to we have to join a channel. And this is the keep alive channel we are going to use at first. So let's configure this channel for ourselves. And as we created this first channel, we can reuse this one actually and rename it to keep alive channel. It doesn't has to use this name. You can name it whatever you want, but I suggest you to create this channel with this sort of name, so it's easier for you to understand what is the use of this channel, and use it only for this purpose, only for keeping the connection alive. Do not use it to communicate messages that are relevant or anything. That will avoid issues in the future, because you will be sending and receiving messages that are just to keep the connection alive, and you may parse them and do things in your application that you don't want to in the future. So again, just create this channel for this purpose and nothing else. If your application requires authentication, I would strongly suggest to not toggle this one, this checkbox here, but if you want to use real-time capabilities with logged out users as well, you can use this one. You can toggle this on. And then you will want to pass this client public messaging. So you will enable the user to send messages to this channel, but do not toggle this on, this client private messaging, just this one. If your user is authenticated, you can just untoggle this and toggle both of these, and that will be it. But if the user is not authenticated, then you should, and you want to use real-time capabilities with a logged out user, then you can use this setup here. So let's use this one for now, and let's save. Okay, cool. Let me see if I did. Okay, yeah, that's all. Okay, cool. So now that we have our Keep Alive channel, I'm going to copy the name. Actually, I'm going to come here. No, sorry, wrong tab. This is the tab, and I'm going to pass this name of the channel to this parameter, Keep Alive channel. There it is. And here you can build the message data you want to send. And to understand this, when you pass a message, you want to pass some information to it. In this case, we are going to pass a simple JSON that we can create with this action here, or this functionality, create map JSON. And here we're going to set this to string and to string. This is the key type, it will be a string, and the value type will be string as well. So let's add a key value pair, and the first key will be message, and the value will be pink. So you can pass anything here. Actually, this is just to keep the connection alive, so you can pass any value you want here. Just using this convention of ping to make it easier to understand what is this doing, that message doing. And then we can define every what amount of seconds we want to send this message. So for example, this WebSocket connection here, I think they send the message every 16 seconds or something like that. And actually Xano uses something like 25 seconds. So we can use something in the middle, 20 seconds, I think it's all right. And that's it. You can leave it as it is. And that's it. That's all we need to keep our connection alive. So let me close this and let me go back to our tab here, and let me instant reload the application, and let me clear the logs in our networks view. So if everything works out, when I connect, we will see the connection here, but also I will see the message sent within the channel, within the connection, which will be a join message to join the Keep Alive channel, and then we should see sporadically different messages being sent and received by this. So let's set it to connect, and there it is. We connected, and now if I click it, I can see the list of messages. And this is the first message we sent, which is join message. And here you can see the configuration, and now after something like 20 seconds we should see the first message being sent from our application, and there you go, it sent itself and set ping, and we receive the response with the same payload. But if you want to change this, you can post-process it in your Xano instance by adding a trigger to your channel. So if I go to dashboard, you could add a trigger here if you want to process the response, but honestly it's not required. I will just leave it as it is and not overcomplicate this. So here is your keep alive channel. That's cool. Now what happens if I make a mistake at the moment of connecting? So let's actually refresh this page. And let's change a bit our connection hash, for example. Let's add the number 1 to the end and let's connect. This is throwing the error not connected. But what if I would like to reattempt to reconnect because maybe there's an error with the server or there was an offline issue or something. I would like to attempt reconnection because some anomaly happened and I want to try again. Well, there's a built-in feature. Well, the first thing you could do is use your own logic to reconnect every time until it's success. But there's a built-in solution for that, which is this retry on fail functionality. You can set this to true, and then you can set the maximum number of attempts you want to make. If you set this to 5, for example, it will attempt to make 5 retries, and every retry will have a longer delay than the previous one. So the first delay is the 2 seconds, the second delay is 4 seconds, then it's 8 seconds, I believe, or something like that. It exponentially grows. Let's try this actually, and let's instant reload our application. Let me clear again this. And now when it connects and I tap the button, you will see that the button will keep loading. Just wait a second. Okay, let's add the number 1 to the end, and this will keep loading, and it won't show me the error message until it finishes all the attempts or it achieves the connection. So for example, if I change this, I have to retry because it will keep erroring. If I instant reload this, I try to connect, I'm connected. So it won't trigger, or this action won't end until all the retries are done. All the 5 retries are done. So that's something you have to keep in mind, because if you use a huge number and you have a huge chain of events, maybe this is not the best way to retry your connection. Maybe you will have to put some kind of manual reconnection system. But this is useful for anomalies, small anomalies, like for example there was a small issue with the server that lasted a few seconds, then this will work just perfect for your use case. So use a relatively small number, otherwise this could end up loading forever. And we also have another functionality actually, that is check connection sporadically. The difference between retry on fail and this one is that retry on fail triggers only when you attempt to connect and it fails on doing so. But the check connection sporadically, what it does is that after a successful connection, it sets a timer that runs every a certain amount of seconds. We can set here, let's say, for example, 5 seconds. And it will check if the connection closes. If the connection closes, it will attempt to reconnect then. So this is something more responsive and this is more like proactively looking for a closed connection, while this is more reactive to the attempt of connecting and failing. And also we have to use this one, let's set this to true, we have to use this one with another other parameters, which is on reconnection action, that I'm not going to review in this video right now, but we will dive into this later, into best practices in the future. But this other is important. Do not reconnect closed codes. So basically here you pass a list of closed codes that you want to check against them, and if the close reason, when you're checking the connection status, if the close reason of the last connection is in this list, it won't attempt to reconnect. For example, if I want to close my connection manually, I would like to filter this list of items, sorry, list of items, and check that the close code, if the list is equal to normal closure. That's the close status used when you close the connection manually in the future. So if it's not the case, then I will want to, in every other case that the connection closes, I will want to attempt to reconnect using this check connection sporadically functionality. So those are the main things to keep in mind when configuring establishing your first connection. You have these other callback parameters that you can use. This is a callback that is triggered when the connection is established successfully. So let me copy this and let me delete this and actually open this and paste this snack bar action. Oh, sorry, my bad. And let's do the same with the connection fail. Let's cut this. Let's open this. And then let me go to the on connection fail callback. And let me paste this. So we can see this almost right away. Let me set the retry functionality to false. So I want to try to reconnect. I want to attempt to reconnect. And there's another issue that shows because there is a conditional, empty conditional. And what we are going to do actually, we are going to use the control page view. Control page view, yeah. We're going to select the page view and go to the next page on success and on error on. If we don't connect, then we are just going to use this callback here to handle that logic. Now, something to keep in mind with these callbacks: do not use this callback to interact directly with the page. This means, or the component. This means do not try to aim to widgets to control, like for example, the page view, and do not use them to control page states or component states. Use it only to show snack bar messages or alerts or that kind of things, or to manipulate app states. We will explain more in detail why in the future, but if you are connecting here, but in the future you move to another page and it attempts to reconnect, you may try to update something in a page or a component that doesn't exist anymore. And that will bring issues and errors in your application that you want to avoid at all costs. So again, I will have a video just dedicated to these kind of good practices. But for now, all you have to know is that use these actions just to show messages in snack bars or info messages, and also to how is this called? Sorry, to manipulate app states. And we have the on reconnection action callback, which receive some interesting parameters like the close codes and the list of channels you joined previously before the closure. So I'm not going to look at this one right now, but basically it works similarly to the other callbacks. So let's retry our application. Let's go back to our test app, instant reload. Let's clear the logs here. Let's wait a minute for it to load. And first we are going to add the number 1 again to the end of the connection hash. So if it fails, it will trigger the on failed connection callback and show the snapback. And there you have, not connected. Remember, this is not coming from this conditional, it's coming from directly from the callback of this action. There you go. Where is this? From this callback. And now if I remove the number 1, I connect, it connected and it moved to the next page. So that's the introductory video. I know it's long, it's a long chapter, but it's important to understand how to establish and maintain your connection at the most basic level. And in the next video, I'm going to show you how to join to different channels and start interacting with them. See you soon.